Hi everybody and welcome back to the Ultimate Fashion History with me, Amanda Halley. And as promised, here is my capsule review of the new James Bond flick, No Time to Die. And this capsule review is a little PS to my epic Best of Bond episode, which I dropped a couple of weeks ago, as I, like the rest of the world, was caught up in Bond fever, brought on by the excitement of us finally getting a new James Bond movie. And after the desolate wasteland of COVID, what better way to herald the return to moviegoing than an exciting, fabulous, fun, funny, glamorous and joyous James Bond movie? Yet there was very little to be had of any of that in No Time to Die, in my opinion. Well, as this is the Ultimate Fashion History, let's start with some fashion. Daniel Craig rocked some iconic outfits like this one, and some sharply tailored Tom Ford suits. As far as the female wardrobe goes, there was only one glamorous evening gown. This deeply plunging backless gown with high slit skirt in midnight blue, as worn by Ana de Armas, who was an absolute delight in the movie, but got so little screen time. Lashana Lynch had some great neo-80s looking power dressing costume, but I was a little confused by Léa Seydoux' wardrobe. Clearly there is something I'm not getting about it, because to my eye it sort of looks like someone had ransacked Rachel's wardrobe from mid-1990s Friends. It was so 90s somehow, and I just didn't get what it was trying to convey about the character of Madeleine. Please write in and tell me what I'm missing, because Bond wardrobes are always on point, so obviously it's me and not them, right? On to the aspects of No Time to Die that we particularly enjoyed. We, my husband Rupert and I, were so excited about seeing No Time to Die that we made a whole weekend of it and went to Toronto and saw it at the lovely VIP cinema and ordered vodka martinis, shaken not stirred, as we braced ourselves for the fun ahead. And there was some fun to be had in No Time to Die. We loved that Ben Whishaw as Q played a far more central role than in his usual Bond outings, and he added some much-needed levity to an otherwise extremely dark and confusing movie. We really enjoyed Lashana Lynch as the first female and the first person of colour to be a 007, even though she gives this code name back to James halfway through the movie. She was great. And perhaps best of all, Daniel Craig really gets to use his dramatic acting chops and offers up a different side to James, an emotional, dare we say, sensitive side to the world's favourite spy. In fact, all of the cast were faultless in their performances. And that includes Rami Malek as a suitably creepy villain, although, and this is no fault of his timeline doesn't really make sense, as we first meet him 20 years ago, 20 years in the past, and when we meet him again in the present, he hasn't aged a day. So this added to an already really confusing and convoluted plot. At least I found it confusing, but I had that martini, remember, so you never know. He has a pretty good island lair, very brutalist in nature with lots of poisoned ponds, and yet for all the endless fight scenes, and the movie is made up of basically nothing but, usually these action scenes are balanced by that sense of glamour that defines the Bond experience. Yet there was very little glamour to be had in No Time to Die, with the exception of the all too brief scenes at a Cuban nightclub, which was without a doubt my favourite segment of the movie, as it spoke to everything that I personally love about James Bond flicks: glamorous settings, great suits, beautiful gowns. But this sequence made up for less than 10 minutes in an almost 3-hour movie. 3 hours which kept hitting the same plot beats over and over again. Here comes another fight scene, here comes another explosion. So if it hadn't been for the last 10 minutes of the movie, and I am not going to do any spoilers here, my capsule review would have concluded with me saying that I found No Time to Die to be a bit one-note, a bit gloomy, but no worse than Spectre, but nowhere near the genius of Casino Royale. But we have that last 10 minutes. And they were arguably the most emotional 10 minutes that I have ever spent in a cinema. No joke, I was shocked. I mean, truly shocked and confused and upset And well, if you've already seen the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. And if you haven't seen it yet but know what I'm talking about, it's worth sitting through almost 3 hours of endless explosions and Bond killing everybody to see how brilliantly these last 10 minutes are handled. And if you haven't seen it and have no idea what I'm talking about, the same applies. So where does the 007 franchise go from here? Because if you sit through all the endless credits at the end, you'll learn that it's not over. Rupert and I came up with what we think is a pretty cool and nifty idea, and we're interested in hearing yours, so write in and I'll show you mine if you show me yours. Yet, as it stands, No Time to Die, probably through no fault of its own, didn't really strike the right note in the post-COVID world, not for me anyway. No matter how less than perfect some of the more recent Bond movies have been, you still leave the movie house feeling kinda good, don't you? And that all is well in the world, because there is one thing we can always be certain of when it comes to James Bond. But No Time to Die took that away from us. So I'm giving No Time to Die 3 out of 5 as a James Bond movie, but you know what? I'm giving it 5 out of 5 for its incredible audacity and for ultimately having the power to move me so much. Thank you for watching my capsule review of No Time to Die and for a cheerier look at James Bond. I'll leave a link to my Best of Bond episode along with my contact details. Let's talk about this. Many thanks for watching, and I'll be back very soon with more on the Ultimate Fashion History.